Oh, hello, hello. Last week, we learned about our reputation, right? So many things we could have that start a good reputation or a bad reputation, what we're known for, so we want to take that first step to the good side. In our series, I think this is it for the good life. And we're all trying to live our best lives, right? We're all trying to be happy, have fun, enjoy every day with the people that we care about. We all want the good life, so today we're going to talk about one of the things that can help us start living a good life right here and now. So let's jump into our conversation with a question. What's something you're looking forward to right now? Is it that favorite class that you have every day at school? I know some of you got a favorite class that you attend, or hanging out with that friend that you've been planning for a while for the weekend, or that new video game update when they're going to release the new mods and you can play that game. Some of you probably can't wait for winter break. That's one of my favorite. Christmas is in there. And I know a lot of us like Christmas. And I know most of you right now, as we sit here, are really looking forward to whatever you're going to eat after I get done speaking today. You're like, this guy needs to hurry up so we can get out of here. So, and forgive me when I cough because I think I'm coming down with something, throat's a little scratchy today. But anyway, like I said, winter break is my favorite time of the year for the holidays when I was your age. It's around Christmas, and I mean, it was agonizing for me because I always like receiving gifts. What kid doesn't like receiving gifts, right? We all like receiving gifts. So, I was this little guy that and let me just say one thing, my brother and I are 15 years apart. So, I love my brother to death, and I could not wait for him to get to my house. One thing, because I loved him. The second thing was Christmas Eve, because he celebrated with his own family Christmas morning. So, we had him at my house, my parents' house, Christmas Eve. So I couldn't wait for him to get there, because when he gets there, that's the start. We're getting closer and closer to opening these gifts. As we're waiting on that, he pulls in the driveway, comes in, I'm all excited, I'm in his face, making goofy faces and funny noises, and happy to see him. Aggravating my dad, because my dad wants to talk to my brother, and I'm in the way of him. And I aggravate him so much, I actually get a whipping. He beats me because he wants to talk to my brother and have a little guy time, because he's older and I'm the kid. And they all know how agonizing it is for me to wait for Christmas. So, we're getting that much closer. Dinner's over. We all go in the living room. I'm so excited I can't stand it. Well, my dad says, let's go for a car ride. Who wants to go for a car ride when you're getting ready to open gifts and it's Christmas Eve? Not this guy. So we go for the car ride, and we're going to go on this car ride to look at Christmas lights. So we all pile in the car. My mom, my sister-in-law, the kids. We're waiting on my dad and brother. Like, they're taking forever in the house. We go out, we're cruising through the neighborhood. Now, I do like Christmas lights, they're beautiful. But, again, I want these presents. So we're driving around, finally come back. The agony is over, the tree is full, and I'm a happy kid. I could not wait, to see what's on the tree. So during that whole time, I didn't have patience to wait to get home, got a whipping from my dad because I didn't have the patience to wait. So it was a good and bad story because I didn't like the whipping, but having the patience to wait, I didn't. And I love Christmas. So, and that's just something that sticks in my mind. I don't have my dad with me anymore. And me and my brother don't get to spend a whole lot of time together because he kind of does what I do at his church, and we have different lives now. So anyway, we're looking forward to something so much. Waiting can be the worst. As I said, waiting to open those gifts. So, just for fun, I want everybody to stand up. Let's stand up and stretch. I'm going to ask a series of questions, and I want you to move to one side of the room or the other. So, we all ready? We excited? Now, it's just for fun. No prizes on this one. What's the worst to wait for? Now, this is going to be the practice run. Is it worse to wait for the restroom?
Automatically, yes.
Or is it worse to wait in that lunch line at school? Just standing there seems like it's forever to wait. So what would you guys say? Waiting to use the restroom or waiting to eat?
You can't go to the bathroom if you don't eat.
So it looks like we're waiting to use the restroom. Some of us are in the middle. Do we wait for the restroom or are we going to have lunch? All right, next question. What's the worst to wait for? Winter break to get here, or on this side of the room, the school day to end? Winter break or the school day?
Yeah. It hurts just thinking about it.
All right, well, I'm with you guys. Winter break, I can't wait, because we get off right before Christmas. We're off all the way until New Year's, right? The school day is cool, but that's one day. But we have those 5 days a week. So I'm with the winter break people. Next question. What's the worst to wait for? For that thing to order on Amazon to arrive? Or the new season of your favorite show? We like the packages. Like that new arrival of the packages. I guess we can DVR the show, right, guys?
No.
One more question? 4 more? 3? What's the worst to wait for? Waiting in line for hours at Cedar Point to ride a roller coaster? Or, now listen, Grandma's cookies to get out of the oven. Well, for those of you whose grandmas do make cookies, or moms, I love Grandma's cookies. You're in the middle, so you can't pick or choose. It's both of them, huh? It's agonizing. Okay. What's the worst to wait for? Being old enough to get your driver's license over here? Or getting into high school? Driver's license? Well, I think that's kind of a trick question, because you gotta be in high school to get your driver's license and have that age, so. A marshmallow. So what's the worst to wait for? That final grade that you're going to get for the final exam, that's the decision maker for the end of the year? Or to see if you made the team, or the play, the musical band, etc., after your tryouts? Waiting is the worst. And that could be really stressful over here, right, guys? All right, well, you guys kind of get where I'm going with this? We can all come back down and have a seat now. All right, so waiting can be the worst, right? We're looking forward to something, and it doesn't feel like we have to wait for, it feels like we gotta wait forever for it to actually get here. You know, that movie that we're dying to see, we're waiting for it to come out, it hasn't come out yet. That concert we have tickets for, it seems like it's gonna take years to attend it, because it's so far out, you gotta buy it so far ahead of time, or that date that we're gonna go on and we can't wait to get here fast enough. I know some guys, and dates, or waiting for what we're excited about. I mean, it can be awful. But you know what else can be awful? Waiting on something we don't love and aren't looking forward to. I mean, think about it. That class you absolutely can't stand, waiting for it to be over. It feels like it's never going to end. That lecture, now if my kids were in here, they would tell you right now, that lecture that mom and dad's getting ready to give you, it seems like it's going to go on and on forever. It's like we made the point, but we just keep going and going and going. That's me. That's my youngest daughter, Mackenzie. She'll tell you all day long, Dad, don't shut up. The lunchline when you're starving, feels like you're just standing there all day waiting. It's not moving, it's slow, or waiting for something that we don't like to be over. That kind of waiting is the worst. And no one likes waiting. We all have to do it. but none of us actually like it. None of us really enjoy being patient for the good things to come. And we definitely struggle to be patient during these things we don't like. We hear grown-ups say things like, patience can be a virtue. Good things come to you for the people who wait. Have we all heard those? But that's a lot easier said than done, right? I mean, it's just, sometimes you just can't wait. So I don't know about you, but my idea of living a good life requires very little waiting or patience. But unfortunately, that's not the real life. In the real life, patience is part of the process. When your brother or sister is using all the hot water and you got to take a cold shower, patience is required by far. I mean, when you told your parents that practice was going to end at 6:30, here I am again. But it's almost 7, and you're waiting on the sidewalk wondering if they forgot about you, patience is needed. When you send that text message to your best friend, you see that they've responded. I don't know if Android does this, but on the iPhone, you got that little gray chat bubble, and the little dots are going like that, and it's just not happening. You're like, all right, answer, I gotta go, I got things to do, but it just keeps fluttering right there. So, again, that requires patience. Some of you are struggling with being patient with your friends or classmates. That might be acting differently, and you're wondering what's made them change. You might be wondering how long it's going to be until that relationship feels normal again. And having the patience in the process isn't easy sometimes. Or some of you are struggling to be patient with your parents. You wish they tried to see things from your perspective. You want to be understood by them, but they can't seem to do it. Instead of patience while they're trying to figure it out, you're just getting frustrated because they can't see things how you see them. You want them to look through your eyes. And there might be even some of you in the room who are struggling to have patience. It's with ourselves, having patience for our own self, for yourself. You wish you could be a better student, a better athlete, a better friend. And for some of us, maybe we can even be a better Christ follower. And instead of being patient with yourself as you go, you find yourself being critical instead. You don't have the patience. So we all struggle with patience, and when we do, what happens? If you're like me, you complain, you get annoyed, you get frustrated, you might even give up. But while that may be a natural response, it definitely doesn't make the situation any better. In fact, it can actually make the situation, the relationship that's required, the situation or the relationship that requires a lot of patience, it can make that worse. And none of us want that. So here's the reality. If we really want to live the good life, then patience is a part of the process. So if we know we need to be more patient, is there a way to be more patient? Excuse me. The truth is, the details of living a good life can actually be found in the Bible. And today we're going to take a tip on patience from the book in the Bible called Proverbs. What's cool about the book of Proverbs is it's written with the sole purpose to provide us with wisdom. Solomon, who wrote the book, was considered an expert on being wise, that wrote most of the book of Proverbs. When people talk about someone who is really good at something, like Mateo's really great at Fortnite, he basically wrote the book on it. Well, that's Solomon. That's how Solomon wrote the book of Proverbs. He did it for wisdom. So today we're going to take a look at one thing Solomon said about patience. Here's what he wrote. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. Okay, so if we break this down, what do we get? Well, for starters, Solomon said patience comes as a direct result of one thing called wisdom. You see, if we want to be patient, we need God's wisdom to help us get there. The more wisdom we have, the more patient we'll become. The less wisdom we have, the less patient we're going to be able to be. So what is wisdom exactly? the ability to see and know what's best. It's something we get more and more over time as we grow older. We grow older, we get wiser. You know where I'm going with it. Get older, get wiser. So as we grow as people and in faith, the Bible tells us that if we want wisdom, all we have to do is ask God to give it to us. That sounds like a pretty good place to start for me and you. We just ask God. So what do we do from there? Once God gives us more wisdom and helps us grow in patience, what does that actually look like in our lives? Well, according to Solomon, it's choosing to look past an offense. Now let's be clear though. I'm not talking about someone hurting you physically or emotionally. I'm not talking about the offenses that happen repeatedly and sometimes secretly. Those things need to be dealt with. And one of the ways you can deal with that is seeking out an adult, a parent, your small group leader, and asking for help. But the offenses or the wrongdoings and frustrations that I'm talking about are the things that test your patience. When someone bothers you, annoys you, or hurts your feelings, you have the chance to practice patience. You know who's had a lot of practice being patient, looking past the bad things someone has done to them? God. Oh my word. I mean, just in my life, I've done so many bad things. I've sinned so many times. You know, God's given me the opportunity many times. He's been patient with me. He's been awful patient with me. And when Jesus died on the cross, he made it so that God could overlook all the bad things we've done. Because the bad things we've done, that's called sin. So check this out. This is a passage from the Bible. Then God made you alive with Christ, for he forgave all of our sins. Can you guys repeat that with me real quick? Then God made you alive with Christ, for he forgave all our sins. To me, that's huge. That's one of my favorite verses. And when I think about how God has forgiven me, it makes it easier to forgive others. Because he had patience with me, showing, after being a Christ follower, I can have patience with them. And when you do, Solomon said, it's actually to your glory. It's the coolest, greatest, most amazing, godly thing you can do. It's a huge deal. It's a big deal. When Solomon said it's for your glory, he might well have said, it's to your benefit. Well, I like glory better. That's way cooler. It sounds, that's explosive. It's to your glory. So, if you want the good life, pursue patience. If you want the glory, practice patience in situations where it's hard to do. Choose to be kind instead of yelling at your brother or sister. Choose not to roll your eyes at your parents and actually listen when they're trying to tell you something. Choose to show your friend grace when they are late over and over and over again. Choose to be patient with people in your life and in situations that are frustrating. Let patience be your glory. It'll be a part of your good life. Remember, if you want the good life, pursue patience. Of course, this isn't always going to be easy, so to help you get started, let's try doing one of these things this week. Seek to understand. When we're frustrated, we're not usually thinking about the other person's point of view. We're not trying to understand their story. When impatience is tempting us to be unkind to someone, patience allows us to learn more about them. It gives them the time and the patience to shut our mouths and open our ears and hear what they really got to say. We can learn about them. And trying to understand someone will help you be more patient. And even if you can't learn about them, you can try to assume the best about what they're trying to do or what they're trying to say on the thing that's testing your patience. All right, next one is think one step ahead. In the moment that things seem to be bigger than they actually are, step back and breathe. Just take a break. And when you do that, ask yourself these questions. Will this matter to me by the end of the day? What mattered to me by the end of the week, end of the month, year, 5 years? I mean, really? When you stop to think about it, because questions like these will help us in situations more clearly and give us time to practice patience. Patience is powerful. It has the ability to do a lot of good for you and other people around you. And that's part of the good life that makes us better people, it makes us great people. It's having patience and learning how to do that and utilize it. So if you want the good life, pursue patience. So today, as you head to small group, think about this question. What's one thing that causes me to have a hard time being patient? So I'll give you guys, let's say a minute, 2 minutes, get something to drink, use the restroom, then we'll go to small group.